Good evening. This is Justin Tidwell again, talking about the legislative action for today. In the Senate, there wasn't anything. The next session is on Friday. Their their activity yesterday that didn't get published until a little bit later, and once it got published, honestly, nothing of real significance. Just kind of more than anything else, kind of blocking and tackling stuff. Recording resolutions that had been passed in the notifications from the House that things had been passed when the Senate, after the Senate was in recess. I don't know if folks remember, but the House was busily passing stuff right before recess, before Christmas, and things like that, and then some tributes to some folks, and nothing of major significance. The big thing is they passed resolution to adjourn until Friday. And then have just pro forma sessions. So basically, just pro forma sessions until January 23rd. So that implies that there shouldn't be any major business. Obviously, I'll keep track and make sure, but no major business. And then the Office of the President, no major activity in terms of orders or anything like that that they signed. But the entertaining thing, I guess, is the House. I've been waiting to see. they adjourned earlier this afternoon or earlier this evening, I guess, depending on where you are. And they started up. They were to start up again at 8. And so I figured, well, I'll wait 8 East Coast time. So I figured, well, I'll wait until they come back and see what they do. See if they try to do another vote for the Speaker of the House this evening, because then I talk about it, and it was kind of funny. They finished the pledge, and then Mitch McConnell said, "Hey, let's adjourn until tomorrow at noon," and that was just a big rigmarole in the House, and they ended up doing a roll call vote, and the yeas to postpone until tomorrow, to adjourn until tomorrow, won by like 2 votes, but it was pretty raucous. It was entertaining to watch. So, well, if you're into that sort of thing, it was entertaining to watch. But long and the short of it is, there were a couple more votes, a couple more roll calls to try to get Kevin McConnell as Speaker of the House, and they failed. I guess they're going to try some more tomorrow. I mean, like I said, they really can't do anything else until they get this sorted. So anyway, I said that what I was going to do is talk about some of the possible changes to the rules of the House of Representatives. And I'm not going to do an exhaustive thing, because most of the stuff, like I said, is kind of piddly. All the stuff is just available on the House.gov website. So nothing super secret or anything. It's all out there for the taking and perusing. There's when you print it out. This is it printed out. There's let me see how that showed up. I'm not sure. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so there's this. It's 50-some pages printed out of regulations about how the House is supposed to conduct business. And then there's this resolution right here, again printed out, it's just over 50 pages, about the changes to be applied to this. Sorry, this for this particular, for the 118th Congress. The two material things that are worth talking about, there's probably other stuff that's material in there, it just didn't, I mean, obviously it really depends on your personal conviction as to what's material and what's not. The things that that seemed material to me, let's say, were, there's a lot of stuff in there that feels, I don't want to be disparaging. It feels like it's paying lip service to being a little bit more fiscally careful about, let's look at how legislation affects the budget, things like that, how we're going to pay for it, stuff like that, which is great. Which is great. I'll just stop there. That's great. There are also two things that seem relatively significant to me. And again, none of this is passed yet because they still haven't figured out who they're going to have as the Speaker of the House. But so, we'll see what actually gets passed. It's kind of amusing. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't laugh, but it's kind of amusing. Anyway, but the two things that are actually very interesting are one of the rules in there, and again, I'm stressing this is draft because it hasn't actually been passed, is that you need a 3/5 majority if you wanted to increase the tax rate, so marginal tax rates, income tax rates, which is great. I think that's personally my opinion. I like that a lot. So you'd need 3/5 of the Senate, 3/5 of the House to actually get a tax increase. The other thing that was interesting is one of the things. If you think about economics, a lot of what the government passes has knock-on effects in terms of employment and wages and things like that, which then in turn affect tax revenue. So it's been a bugaboo of some segment of the population on and off over the years. It's been a long-standing bugaboo, quite frankly, of the Congress not taking those economic growth factors into account when they look at the effects of legislation. And there's something in here that directs for meaningful legislation, and they define what meaningful legislation is. But for meaningful legislation, actually including those kind of knock-on economic effects and how those knock-on economic effects would in turn affect tax revenues and things like that in legislation. And again, I think that's a really good idea because that's more accurate. I mean, it certainly makes the analysis a little bit more difficult, but it feels like a little bit fairer analysis to me anyway. So I'm kind of happy about those two really big things, or things that in my mind seem really big. Obviously, they may not be that interesting to you, but they were certainly interesting to me. And other than that, I mean, there's, like I said, there's just a bunch of other stuff. The other stuff, I just quite frankly, didn't seem that material to me. I mean, I'm just paging through some of it. The other thing that might be interesting is there's a stipulation that you can't really do things remotely. One of the things that the Republicans made a bunch of hay about was in the last Congress was that people could basically do things via Zoom and not actually be in Washington D.C. And if the rules of Congress get changed in the way that's described right now, then that would go away. Again, I'm kind of indifferent to that. That's really, I tend to work remotely a lot too, and it seems to be it seems to work well for me. Is there an argument to say that when your job is to, I guess, politic with your coworkers, that remote is hard, or it's hard to be effective remote? There's probably an argument there, but I have to say I'm actually kind of indifferent to that one. It's something worth mentioning, I guess, but I'm indifferent to it myself, and I'm just. That's really kind of in terms of the stuff that rises to the level of, I think this is actually noteworthy. That's the only thing that I can. Those are the only things that really seem noteworthy to me. Other than that, it's seems pretty same old, same old. Anyway, so like I said, aside from the circus that is the House trying to get the Speaker of the House nominated. And the reason I'm chuckling is because it was when I was watching the actual live session just before I recorded this. Look, I don't know if anybody's ever watched the House of Commons. Sometimes I'll watch the House of Commons in the English Parliament, and they get really raucous and they start yelling back and forth and things like that. And you think, wow, I wonder why our folks don't do that. Well, I was looking at it, and that's what they were doing, yelling back and forth. It was kind of amusing. Anyway, so that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully, our elected officials will get past this little hiccup tomorrow and figure out who the Speaker is. And like I said, the Senate won't be doing anything for a few days. So with that, I hope everybody has a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.